And the last thing I have to say, of course, you know, it gets more intricate than, you know, just a chart full of expenses or whatnot, because, you know, you also earn money. You can earn money in different ways. You know what I'm saying? You can accumulate, you earn karma, you accumulate karma in different ways in areas of the birth chart or whatnot, right? It's not just a chart of expenses or whatever, right? And your earnings, your expenses, they come together and you pretty much get to decide or delegate, you know, what goes where, you know, how do you do this thing, and you know the amount of money that you spend on this thing comes with a certain quality of life expectancy or whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? And then there's different factors. Is this a good investment? Was this a bad investment? Was this an educated investment? Yada yada yada, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, it gets more intricate than just a chart of expenses, but I just thought this was an easy example to show that one area of the chart doesn't just act upon itself. And the chart is not the chart is a snapshot of the seed imprint. But you know, if you are an entity that's ever growing, ever developing, you know, ever conscious, whatever you want to call it, you know, you're not a seed. You're not the seed. You're not you coming out your mama's womb and, you know, taking in that first breath of air as you once were anymore, right? You develop. You're constantly growing. You're constantly moving, transiting through this universal construct that we all find ourselves to be a part of. So the snapshot doesn't really apply to the person that you are today. To some degree, yes. You know what I'm saying? The transits can cause certain experiences and, you know, whatever, but ultimately you do have the wherewithal to delegate the happenings. You know what I'm saying? Or choose how you're going to respond to, react to the different transitory periods, and you know where you're going to take your person, you know, for lack of a better word, right? What you're going to do with you. And so it's not about the birth chart is a solidified stone type of thing. What you got Pluto in the sixth house. You just a bitch that can't watch this for whatever reason. Let me stop saying that's crazy. Or you know, you got Chiron in the eighth house. You know what I'm saying? You be beating up your dog or whatever. You feel me? It's not that you're just confined to a certain behavior due to a certain placement. It's more so maybe you do have a I don't know a serious vritti or a serious thing that you don't necessarily know how to mitigate, but it can be action applied towards getting rid of that particular thing, right? Diddy Diddy probably Diddy probably ain't know how to do shit but did it. You know what I'm saying? It probably wasn't an option for that nigga to live a righteous lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? In his mindset, right? You feel me? In his mindset, in his makeup, in his construct, he probably thought it was impossible for him to be a stand up human being who wasn't accustomed to nigga buttholes, right? But that's just a belief that he embodied, you know what I'm saying? And that could have been avoided, you know, that could have been addressed and karmically worked out within his own self. Not an impossibility at all, but ultimately the mind conceives what it conceives, right? And yeah, people just got to figure out how to deal with that on their own time. But what else? That's pretty much all I got right now. Origin, I'll pop back in and drop something else if I come up with some more.